Hello everybody, my name is Nutbar Chief, and today we're going to start a brand new Let's Play series, and that is Elden Ring. Straight off the bat, I have a couple of things to say about this game, well, three things really. First of all, this game is huge, I mean, monumentally massive. But secondly, it is incredibly difficult, at least in places, not all the time obviously, but at various points of the game, this difficulty scales up beyond belief, honestly. But it's still fun, I will say that. Thirdly, I will say that this game is amazing. I mean, both in terms of gameplay and in terms of visually. I mean, it's visually stunning. Character design, I can't really fault it. I'm absolutely addicted to this game, which is why I really decided to do a Let's Play of it. I can't stop playing it, so I thought I'd share that with you guys. It is my first introduction to the Souls series, and I will say, after I got over the initial kind of, oh my god, this game is so hard, I'm sure a lot of you can relate to, in fact. Started to get into the core mechanics, as it were, and I got quite deep into the game on my own. I felt like I have a decent enough grasp of it, so I thought I'd, start a game and see where we go. So without further ado, we'll hit new game. So straight off the bat here, you can see obviously you have various character archetypes, different looks. What we'll do is we'll jump straight into, because you can select further once we get into character selection. First of all, we'll go with the Vagabond. Now, the first thing I'll ask you is type A or type B. The game refers to it as either muscular or slender build. What it really means is male and female. So type A is male, type B is female. We'll go type A. Now, as you can see here, he doesn't start at level 1, he starts at level 9. Now, they actually start at various levels depending on the character class you pick. It doesn't have much of a bearing, it just gives you a bit of a head start. So perhaps we jump down to Origin here, so actually select. So you can see they start at various level 7, level 8, level 5. Wow, he's low level. Generally speaking, the low level's better because you can actually put more stats. You can build the stats where you want, basically. And if, like, say, you're Vagabond, your Warrior, Hero, these kind of your, and Samurai, in fact, they're kind of more tanky classes, very physically based. And then you have like Astrologer, a Prophet, a Prisoner, or a Confessor, are more kind of akin to mages, if you will. But what we're actually going to go for is a Wretch. This is going to be a Wretched playthrough. As you can see, he starts level 1. Now, all of his stats start at 10, which seems kind of underwhelming, but it does mean we can allocate stats how we want to do it, or how I want to do it, rather than how the game dictates. It does mean you have no real advantage to start. You're basically a blank canvas. But although, one of the things I will point out here is he starts with Arcane of 10. Now, Arcane is, obviously, it's tied into you magic, but it's also you've got a stat in the game called Discovery, which I suppose is sort of the magic farm, but where it really is applicable is when you're collecting harvesting items or farming items. Now, as you can see, some of them start 9, 8, some 10. Yeah, it's not huge, but it's a little bit of. I mean, my previous playthrough was a Vagabond in my own time. At least he starts at 7, which became a bit of a pain as I got later in the game and I was trying to farm particular items. So starting at 10 is a good way to start, because it means we don't have to put any additional points into that to begin with. We can leave that as is. You can find items that will help our discovery, but that'll do for the moment. And other than that, so yeah, what we'll do, we will select him. Now, the next choice you've got is a keepsake. Now, I don't want to forget this. This is very important. So you can pick whatever you like. So they have various things. So, like, as you can see, medallion, this increases your HP. This one basically gives you runes. Now, runes are like in-game currency. Now, it's an interesting way of looking at it, because they say currency. What they really mean is you use the runes to level up your character, but you also use the runes to purchase items. So runes are everything. So starting with additional runes at the beginning of the game is great, but also, to be honest, at the very start of the game, it's actually really easy to acquire runes. It's especially when we're level 1, it's going to be very easy to level, and most things we want to buy are going to be quite cheap. Now you also have a golden seed, and the golden seed, it's said to reinforce sacred flasks. Now, flasks are like your potion, so you have a health potion or a mana potion, or in this game it's called FP, which is focus points, which is the same, basically mana. And a golden seed straight off the bat allows you to have an additional potion, so that's the most important one we can have, which is actually the one we're going to go for, but I will just have a quick look at the others. So I'm assuming this one is going to be a summon. Crackpot is basically like grenades, so it's an additional thing to have in your key. Now, Stone Sword Key is essential for there are these little imp statues that block kind of doorways into places, and you can use these keys to unlock those. So it's quite handy to have, because at the very start of the game there is actually one you can use. But I think it's very hard to... an extra health potion at the start of the game is way more beneficial than an extra stone sword key, if that makes any sense. Bewitching branch, this is useless. Boost physical damage negation. This is great too, but you can actually buy these later in the game, so starting with the beginning of the game is kind of irrelevant. And this one attracts the enemy's aggression. Now I don't understand why on earth you would want that, because as you play through this game, you realise the damage. The last thing you want is aggro. You want to pick off enemies one by one to take out. The last thing you want is to be attacked by a bunch of them, because you just die so quickly, so quickly. Anyway, we'll get past all of that. So we'll go with our golden tip before I forget, because I have a habit of forgetting that when I do my new characters. Then we have appearance. Now I'm not going to go through full character creation, because that just can take an age. And there are so many. Well, I'll show you. There are so many different. You can now. These are like your templates, but you can actually go really deep into it. And I'm not gonna. He's got a big, a tubby boy. But we're gonna go through. Forget all that. So I have a. Yeah, it's something you can change every facet of your character, but I actually have a preset I built. So I'll just use that. That'll be fine. So he's a wretched. He's a vagabond. He's a bit scruffy. He's got a bit of a beard, a bit of a hairdo. He's not keen on the hairdressers, but he's incredibly buff. So we'll go with him. I think, yeah. Yes, my favourite. Okay, no. Now the only thing we have to do is add his name, and we're going to call this chap Oathbreaker. It seems kind of law friendly, I suppose, in a sense, or at least seems suitable, fitting suitably with the world. So that's that. So we'll go OK, and then from here we will click finish, and we'll jump into the game. Okay, I'll see you in a bit.
The fallen leaves tell a story. The great Elden Ring was shattered. In our home, across the fog, the lands between. Now, Queen Marika the Eternal is nowhere to be found. And in the night of the Black Knives, Godwyn the Golden was first to perish. Soon, Marika's offspring, demigods all, claimed the shards of the Elden Ring. The mad taint of their newfound strength triggered the shattering. A war from which no lord arose. A war leading to abandonment by the greater will. Oh, rise now, ye tarnished, ye dead who yet live. The call of long-lost grace speaks to us all. Horalu, chieftain of the Badlands, the ever-brilliant Gold Mask. Fear, the deathbed companion. The loathsome dung-eater. and Sir Gideon Othniel, the all-knowing. And one other, whom grace would again bless. A tarnished of no renown. Cross the fog to the lands between. To stand before the Elden Ring. And become the Elden Lord.
Here we are. This cutscene is suitably epic. I thought I'd leave you to watch that because I really quite enjoy that. Even though I've seen it a few times at this point. Is that dude in his pants with his club? So he has no gear really other than his weapon, which is kind of a bit of a... we actually go into his start... Oh, that's the map. That's the wrong one. Wrong one, wrong one. Actually, you can point out we actually have nothing on our map yet. We have to find a map later. This is all undiscovered land. Have a quick look at his starting equipment. So here we have... okay. So we have a club. Now this club has... it's not bad, honestly. I haven't used it a bit in the game. It as you can see with the attribute scaling here, it scales with... It's a C, which is not bad. So actually, as you pile stats points into strength, this can become quite a powerful weapon. But I don't really think we're going to stick with this weapon, to be quite honest with you. It's just to get us through the early bits of the game. Hopefully, we'll find some better stuff as we go along. It does have quite a good effect though. If we jump out of here, so yeah. Right, and then we can do. Yeah, it's quite aggressive. That's your basic strike. Right, let's forget about that. Okay, so tarnish wizened finger. Okay, hello. This basically is mainly applicable to one, so we can actually quick look at that here. So we go to victory, victory menu. Right, okay. Yep. Memory of grace. So yeah, we don't need to look at that. Use throw message to other world. So this means if it's only applies to multiplayer. So if you're trying to summon another player, because obviously some of the bosses in this game are very hard. It's actually quite fun to play with one or two or other, more people, and you can actually summon somebody to help you in your world. And this is the finger that you use to write. So if they were going to, you can write with that, and then they can use another item you find later on that you can then summon them to your world or whatnot. So anyway, let's go through here. As you can see, a lot going on. Let's check from anticipation. I'm anticipating, that's true. Right. Now, unlike most games, smashing all these boxes yields no results, so I'm just going to leave all of those things as they are. I'm going to cross this rickety bridge. Wow, we're high up. It's a big tree. Right, anyway, moving forward. Let's go. So we'll run through here. I think probably the easiest thing to do. Yeah. Now, we won't last very long here, I can tell you that for free. It's kind of the first mini-boss, so... we'll try. Hello? No. That did not go well at all.
Don't worry, Torrent. Fortune is on his side. We found him here, after all. One of his kind is sure to seek the Elden Ring. Even if it does violate the Golden Order.
Right, there's another brief cutscene there. Pretty sure we're supposed to die at that first boss. It's kind of funny. I think you can kill it, but you don't really get enough chances to practice on it because you have to start a new game every time you do. It's just the way it is. As you can see, we have these are a flask of Crimson Tears. These are our health flasks. Let's have a look. And Cerulean Tears are our FP flasks, or mana flasks, if you like. Where are we? Now this is suitably dingy. There's a chap here we can speak to. Hello. Brave Tarnish, take the plunge. Learning and remembrance. Okay. Call the Arts of War and your warrior's blood. So basically, if we drop down here, this is the tutorial section, and I will go through that with you. Just because it's a good way to get some free runes. We need all the runes we can get at this stage of the game because it's, you know, use item. Yeah, this is annoying. These pop-ups wind me up no end. I went through with a few of the characters this morning just to have a little look because I basically started character Vagabond, you know, a week ago. I've been playing with him ever since, and I've never really, you know, got anywhere. I haven't tried any other builds. I'm just trying them out, but I feel like the Sites of Grace. Right, so resting at a Site of Grace will restore your HP, FP, and cleanse any status ailments. It would also refill your sacred flasks. However, most of the enemies you defeat will be revived. Now, this is actually really important to remember because you kind of, as you move through the game, it's an open world game, and as you kind of move through the game, you have, you sort of move from encounter to encounter. And it's very tempting to go, right, I've used all my resources, I need to rest and heal up one of these sites, and I'm good to go, but actually no, because that respawns, everything respawns as well as your gear, so you kind of have to make do with what you've got, if I'm honest. So that's a additional challenge to this game. Anyway, so as we can read on, so you can find such aggressive going anywhere light converges. Yeah, anyway. So we can rest of these. Now they serve several functions actually. Should we touch Grace? Now you have to touch it to activate it. Once you've activated it, you can now rest at this site. So there are a few things that happen here. So you can pass time. So you've got early morning until noon until nightfall. Now this is actually relevant because certain encounters, especially boss encounters, only happen at night time or, you know, various points. So sometimes it's worth resting till night at a new place to see if anything spawns or, you know, if you're after a particular enemy. But generally you just have to pass time, and that will heal all your things. You can also so you can add a charge to flask. Now we won't be able to do this. Oh yes we can. This is what the golden seed was for. I was thinking of the other thing. Yes, we use that now, and this will give us instantly another potion basically. You can also increase your increased amount replenished by flasks. Now we can't. This is what we can't do because you need sacred tears. We haven't actually gotten it yet, and we don't really have much health to worry about it now. But as you progress the game, this becomes more and more relevant. So we're not going to do that. And you can also allocate. Yes, with this menu you can allocate number of flask uses, a number of uses in each of your flasks. You have a set total of maximum uses. But I'll explain it better to explain it myself. So as you can see it, so on the left hand side you have your health potions if you like, and on your right hand is your mana or FP potions, and you can kind of change how many you have of each. Now we are predominantly melee at the moment, so we're going to stick with our health because we're going to need to be able to restore that at a whim. But we'll save one. It's always useful to have one mana potion, FP potion, just for a rainy day. Because some of your skills you use, particularly even weapons, they have skills that use FP, so you need to be able to restore that if you need to. So allocate this, leave that as is. Get out of there. Also, you can memorize. You can change your spells. You only have. Yeah, I'll explain them. So you can only have 2 spells at a time, but at the moment you can acquire more memory slots throughout the game. As you can see, the FP is your total amount of spells cost. Now, if we haven't got any, so I can't really show you. But we can acquire more memory slots as we go, and that means we can then add more spells. Now we don't. It's not really relevant to us right now. As you can see there, the tributes required for spellcasting. This is kind of relevant because we have faith, intelligence, and arcane. Certain spells, in fact, certain weapons have those requirements too. So it depends kind of what you build. But I'm not really sure. I haven't really got a plan for this character yet. We'll kind of see as we'll make it a bit more organic playthrough. See how we go. See what we fancy. I think is probably the best thing to do. But in the meantime, we'll back out of there. So like that. And the other thing you do is sort your chest. With this menu, you can place items that you're carrying into the chest for storage, or take stored items out of the chest. If you're already carrying the maximum number of items when you pick up a new item, it will be stored in the chest. Yeah, now this is not really a problem. Like later in the game, you'll need to store a lot more. But I mean, the point where I've got to in the game, I still haven't used up everything up or filled up all my inventory, so it's not a huge problem. And generally, if you have too many of a certain thing, it will automatically get put into your chest. But anyway, we will leave that, so leave. The other function of these sites of grace, now if we look at our map here, yep, these red, yeah, what am I talking about? These yellow points are sites of grace. Now you can actually fast travel to rest, but we haven't got anywhere to fast travel to yet. But when we do, you can nip about. The exception of you wouldn't be able to fast travel out of here into another one because you have to be out in the open world outside. But you can, from the outside, you can teleport into one of these. So it's useful to know. Let's move up. Let's move on. So let's take out. Hello. Some of that. Now we'll stress that this is tutorial cave, so these bosses are these monsters are a lot weaker. Enemies, I should say, are a lot weaker than they would otherwise be. Now we can't actually. I don't think we can block that shit. We can have a temper tantrum though. Hello. Oh, what a great start. I'm so used to having a shield. But anyway. Right. Strong attack. Use armament in your left hand or both hands to guard, obviously. So elbow guard. Oh, that's not going to work, is it? That was good though. Right, there you go. Yeah, we can't actually block because we haven't got a shield, so that's no good to us right now. We will work with getting one in a bit, but we don't really have any. You can avoid enemy attacks with dodge roll or backstep. Both of these actions consume stamina, so yeah. So I suppose we can demonstrate that. So hello. That's a roll, right? Enough. It's all pretty self-explanatory. I say that, but it wasn't when I first started playing, but you get used to these things. Right, now there's a dude up here. Yeah. Well, we can't actually do any damage to him right now, so we have to just avoid his range. I'm gonna pick these. Rower flute. I don't even know why I pick those. I very rarely use these. But I'm a kleptomaniac. It's a hangover from my Skyrim days, to be quite honest. I'm a hoarder in most of these games. Oh, hello. Right, so all this. Don't need this chap to shoot me in the back, if I'm honest with you. Right. Gets in there. Look at that. No expression. We blinked. Very serious. Very serious. Well, I enjoyed it, even if he didn't. But we need to go back to one. I very rarely use weapons, two-handed weapons. So hello. Yeah. Yeah, this is so nice compared to the later in the game. Right, me to... Missed. No. No. Now he's actually using a shield that I really want to get. It's a brass shield, but you can't get one off these guys, unfortunately. Well, I think you probably could. You have to kill a few. But there's a place we can get some later on. So I really like that shit. Right. Armaments have special abilities equal skills. Skills are highly varied and range from powerful attacks to temporary effects. Use skills consume FP. LT skill, which in our case our skill is at. As you can see, it's using FP. So at the top there, left-hand corner, top left-hand corner, you've got red bar is your health, blue is your FP or mana, and the green bar is your stamina. Stamina refills quite clear. So when yeah, I know. So when your stamina is low, you can't really, well, you can't use gear effectively, and you certainly can't block effectively. I don't think we're going to be able to... No. There we go. We did manage stealthy. That's very nice. Very, very nice. So, let's take a quick squeeze my drink. My throat is very dry. So we're going to crack through. We're going to take out this guy. This is satisfying. Dum de dum dum dum. Oh. 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 And we got him. Okay. Another one here. Charge attack. So it's jumping attack. So let's try one of those, shall we? Best thing for him, I feel. Best thing for him. Moving through here. Stakes of Marika. So upon dying, you will be revived at the last site of grace that you revisited. However, if there is a stake of Marika near where you died, you can choose to be revived there instead. Typically find these outside boss encounters and things like that. Which is pretty much where we're going to go. So what I'm actually going to do is take some because this is the boss fight. He's not particularly tough, but he can deal great damage if I mess up, so... Yeah, well that's no good to me, I can't block. Sword. Now that's actually quite... That can do massive damage, especially from my underpants. As you can see, if I press start quickly, bottom right corner is runes. I'm sure you typically get a lot more runes for boss fights. In fact, later on in the game, you can pick up insane amounts, and we can use this level. But this should get us. This will do for now. Nothing else down here, is there? No. Wait, is there? No. Let's go. And this takes us back up where we dropped down to. There's a sleepy ghost in his chair. Now here, there should be another item. These little glowy spots above enemies, above corpses. So, alright. Search remains. It's actually very nice to be doing this. I've actually turned off online mode for this. And otherwise, you normally get messages written by the players, and I've noticed they tend to put them in stupid places like there when you're trying to pick things up or whatever. It really, really winds me up because when you're trying to activate a lever or things like that, I know they're trying to be clever or being funny, but they're just irritating to me. Let's go. Let's open this door. Let's go up here. The site of grace here. We will actually rest at this one. To activate it, I will actually rest, recharge my flasks. Last time, yeah. Until morning. Whatever. A couple of things we can do up here. So, this smoky doorway is actually a new area, but we can't get there yet because it... Yeah. More smoke. So, these imp statues are what our stone keys are for. We don't, so we could actually have got one at the beginning as a keepsake, but I think we'll find it. In fact, we'll do that later. Yeah, so no, we don't really. So, what it is, you use the stone sword key. It kind of activates the imp statue, and the mist will disappear, and you can then go down. That's a whole new area, but we couldn't really handle it down there anyway at the moment, and that's what we got here. Tarnished felled fingers. So use these to summon sign. So corrupted multiplayer will begin once you have been summoned by a player from the world. You will take the ally, roll of an ally felled finger, and your objective is to defeat the area boss. So yeah, but that's irrelevant. Yeah, irrelevant to us because we are playing offline. There's a lift here. This will take us up to the main world. There's, if for whatever reason you mess up, fall off the lift, or you fast travel back here when you do have a stone sword key, you can use this lever to pull the lift down. But we don't need to do that for now. So all we have to do at the moment is stand on here. Up we go. Right. I always feel like there's more to find here, but I know there isn't. I'm so used to other games, other roleplay games, where you have to find things, and there's all these pots. There's no point in breaking them. Right. So this is Limgrave. So if you jump to our main map here, yeah. Okay. Now down there, that chap on the horseback, you can just make him out there. That's one of the first bosses. Now he is way too tough for us right now, so we're going to leave him well alone. Ready to go. What's this? Exactly. Summoning pools. So in each area you may find effigies of martyrs. These effigies are summoning pools. You'll find it easy to summon other players at these locations. As co-op and hostile summoning signs created with the small effigies go something. Basically, yeah. So if you see one of these signs, one player can use drink like a summoning potion or whatever, and the other player will find a similar spot in his world and use a felled finger to write a little message, and they can summon you. So for instance, if we were online, we could summon some people to help us fight this boss. But again, we're not going to do that. We're just going to give him a wide berth for the time being because he's painful to fight. But we do have another side of grace here. Lost grace, side of grace, whatever. Grace exists to guide the tarnished leader and all of probably yeah, whatever. Right, we're gonna check the map. I know the map. There's nothing on that map. We do need. There is. There's a little. We haven't reached it yet, but when we uncover some of this fog, we can find a map for this area.
Oh,
anyway.
yes. Tarnished, are we? Come to the lands between for the Elden Ring? Of course you have. No shame in it. Unfortunately for you, however, you are maidenless. Without guidance, without the strength of runes, and without an invitation to the Round Table Hold, you are fated, it seems, to die in obscurity. Luckily for you, however, there is one shining ray of hope for even the maidenless. Me. Vare. Take care to listen. Are you familiar with grace? The golden light that gives life to you tarnished. You may also behold its golden rays, pointing in a particular direction at times. That is the guidance of grace, a path that a tarnished must travel. Indeed. Grace's guidance holds the answers. It will lead you tarnished to the path you are meant to follow, even if it leads you to your grave. Grace's guidance will reveal the path forward, most certainly, to Castle Stormvale, over on the cliff, the home of the decrepit demigod, Godric the Grafted. It's time you set off, I should think, to Castle Stormvale on the cliff, if you seek the Elden Ring. maidenless as you are.
Okay, so he's exhausted everything else to say. Right, now what he was talking about is these sites of grace here. So if we look at the map, it actually points the direction where we're going to go. So it kind of points us up this direction, which is actually where we're going to go. If we scroll out, you can see how big the map is here. And this is just one small section we're in at the moment, so there's plenty more to discover. Right, we're going to drop down. No, but what we're going to do is, you can die from height in this game, fun fact, so you want to kind of be mindful of that. There are some other things we need to do here, so we need to just kind of give him a wide berth. Deep here, I might kill one of these if I can. Didn't drop anything. No, we want to kill these because they actually drop what's called beast bones, which we can use for karate. No, I don't think I want to get any closer than that. That'd be bad for me. This boss is incredibly strong. When my first playthrough, I tried to fight him and died approximately 1,000,000 times before I realised it's not essential. You can kill him not that long after now, to be honest. Once you don't need to be that strong to kill him. You just need amounts of your own to level the playing field a bit. You're just going to use hit and run tactics on him. It'll take a while, but it's easier, I believe, as a mage class because you can kind of ping him from a distance, but then nip off on your horse. But as a melee user, it can be quite brutal because his attack, he's wielding like a really long halberd or all arm type weapon basically, and it has a range. So one of his attacks has got an attack radius of approximately 1,000,000 miles. So here we are at the Church of Ella. This is where our grace point was guiding us. So what we'll do, we will rest here. Good. Fast travel to sites of grace. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. So we can now, we zoom back in a minute, we can now fast travel to any of these points. As again, Cave of Knowledge is inside. So these two are inside. So if we can fast travel to those from here, but we can't fast travel out again. So that's something to be mindful of when you are teleporting into places, or back to places. There's a couple of things we need here. There is a strengthening armors. At a smithing table, you can spend runes and smithing stones to strengthen your armaments. Somewhere in the lands between you may meet a blacksmith who can make armaments even stronger. Yeah, so I believe it gives us a smithing stone here. We won't do this now, but I will show you quickly. So strengthen armaments. Yeah, we haven't got enough. So it tells you they require item smithing stone 1, but we need 2 of them, and we only have 1 at the moment. And then obviously down below that, it's just 230 runes. Now I'll make a +1 club. Now we're probably not going to level up the club anyway, because as I said, I doubt I'm going to use this weapon forever and ever. I do want to change to bigger and better things as we discover them and or buy them. So we'll hang on to our smithing stone for now. Well, in fact, we have no choice. The other thing we want to do is speak to this chap here.
You're a tarnished. I can see it. And I can also see that you're not after my throat. Then why not purchase a little something? I am Kale, purveyor of fine goods. I am of a nomadic people, selling wares as I travel. The land has been tainted by madness since the shattering of the Elden Ring. It's only tarnished like yourself, who keep things from drying up entirely. Let's say you're a very welcome customer. You know, if you can spare the runes, you should buy yourself a crafting kit. A crafting kit allows you to make basic items on your own. Essential, really, if you intend to survive out here for any duration. The kit costs a bundle, and I admit I do take my cut. But the important thing is that you survive. Every customer counts, after all.
Yeah, I don't believe we have enough. Oh, hang on, maybe we do. So yeah, there are various nomadic merchants you can find dotted around the map. They sell various things. Ranging from consumables to craft kits and these cracked pots, as I said before, you can use these for grenades. We don't need one of these right now. Pearl calling finger remedy, we can buy one of those, but that's not relevant to us because we're not playing. We're playing single player, so we're in offline mode, so we won't need one of those. Telescope you can buy, which I never ever use, so that's irrelevant in my eyes. There's no real use. Now, this is what he was talking about, the crafting kit. Now, we will actually buy that. He does sell other recipes, but we don't have enough runes for those yet, so we're just going to have to we'll have to wait. What they do is allow you to craft other consumables, so especially the later ones allow you to make things that help, help your immunities and defense and other things, and cure poison, that sort of thing. But these ones are pretty basic, but we'll get those as and when we can afford them. But we can't for the moment. But we will buy a basic crafting kit, so here we go. He also sells a torch, which is useful for lighting up areas, so I'll buy one of those while I'm thinking about it. And that's us broke. 96 runes. He does sell a shield, but we don't really want that one. We want a better one, so we'll see if we can find, because it's okay, but yeah, it's not the best. And this armour, it's a bit overpriced. I don't know how good it's going to be for us. But he does sell these notes, which are they're like tutorials. What I think so.
I'm glad you took my warning to heart. You've made an excellent choice.
If you have a crafting kit, you can make various items from the materials that you find. Select item crafting from the main menu to make items. You can learn to craft more items by finding cookbooks. Let's jump to the main menu. Oh, let's jump to the main menu. So let's go in here. So this is what the crack pots are for. So with mushrooms and smouldering butterfly, we can then make fire pots, which we can then throw. They're like fire bombs, petrol bombs, basically. And you can have, if you have string, which you find from another creature, you can actually make petrol bombs on a string, like a bolas, and throw it at people. You can also make bone darts, which is what we want to kill the sheep for, because these are actually, they don't do a massive amount of damage on their own, but they are very helpful with regard to picking off enemies from the pack. So it's always worth killing a few sheep, so I will actually kill a few in a bit. I might do that in between videos, just to farm a few basic ingredients, but we'll see how it goes. There are some things we can pick up along routes on X locations, so I guess that'll do. Row and race, this is what your rower fruit's for that I pick up and never use. In my own playthrough, I've got a lifetime supply of rower fruit, and I never ever use it for anything, because you can actually use this to feed torrent. The torrent's horse you can pick up later on, mount anyway, and you can actually feed those to him to restore his HP, but I never ever use it, because if he dies you can just respawn him generally. Rainbow stone shines a fellow light in place, serving as a guide. Again, never ever have I made those, except once to see how they are. And then we've got Fell Calling Finger Remedy, which we just need early flower, but again we're not going to need that because we're not got sun anyway, but we'll probably pick up the flowers anyway because I have no kleptomaniac. But that's it, I think, for the time being. So what we'll do is probably call it here. Even glistening in the rain. But I think I'll call this episode finished, because we got through quite a lot. We got through character creation, we got through a tutorial phase, and we watched a couple of meaty cutscenes. And now we are sailing the way well. And as you can see here, as I was saying earlier, this little still pointing us in the way. So this is where we go. That here, this is where we'll find the map marker, I believe, map for this little area. But we'll tackle that next time. Alright, so thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye now.